Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shooting the Shit with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today's topic is a continuation of my video from earlier today where I talked about how gun companies aren't really being innovative anymore. Their new products really aren't cutting the mustard. They're not interesting. They're definitely not innovative. So I wanted to know what you think, which gun company has done the best job at staying innovative, putting out interesting products. New products that are actually new, not just an old product in a different shade or with a different hole put in the frame, that kind of thing. Let me know which company you think is still doing a good job of putting out innovative quality products. And I'm going to start us off and I'm going to say it's Kimber. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but in the last decade or so, Kimber has been the one that has made the most new guns that are actually interesting, that are actually different for their platform, their lineup, I should say. It's not just their same old gun painted a different color or compensated, or the barrel's a half-inch shorter or a half-inch longer, even when it doesn't make sense. Not a lot of that stuff. They come out with, the K6Ss, their little semi-automatics, their 2011, their 2K11 or whatever they're calling it now. They've really been putting out some decent new stuff, while other companies are just kind of wallowing in the mud, not really putting out anything new or innovative, not investing the money in research and development. They're playing it safe, and it shows that they're playing it safe. And I did a whole video today. If you want to see that, go look at it, talking about why I think they're playing it safe, why they're in a bad spot that they put themselves in. But like I said, for as far as manufacturers go that are still doing it, I had to sit down and think, who do I think is still doing a good job? And there's a couple, but I think Kimber is the top of that list for me. With that being said, I'll go over here and we'll see if anybody else agrees with me or what they have as their answers. I would love to see it. So let's go look. Ghost Shadow said, innovative rarely equals good. Kel-Tec is innovative. Well, yeah, that's why I kind of said innovative quality products. Kel-Tec doesn't put out quality. Although you could make the argument that Kel-Tec is really putting in the effort to design new stuff. And they come out with some pretty cool new designs. But they just don't know how to make them. It's like a chimpanzee comes up with an amazing new idea for an automobile, but he doesn't have the mechanical skills to build it. So he ends up just hammering, nailing a banana skin to a piece of wood or something because his idea is great, but his execution is lacking. That's Kel-Tec. John Heasley said CZ and Colt. Both of those I can see as true. Colt more so than CZ. CZ, I think, has done more alterations to products they already have, but they've done really good alterations to them and produced guns people want, myself included. Colt, however, they've done the whole bringing back the Python line, the Anaconda, all their snake guns, bringing those things back. Modernized, made better for, the modern consumer, made good for the modern consumer. And I think they've done it right. They've done it in a way people actually want the product, and the product's actually worth having. So Colt was probably my second choice of ones that are still doing a good job. Sean Bain says, no one. It's all shorter frames, barrels, etc., or a double stack version of a gun that's been around since before World War II. That seems to be most of it. I would say that is probably 95% of the new gun market right now. We just got to maintain our profit margins and sell more guns and say boo to everybody so they'll go out and buy a second gun when they don't need it or really even want it, but because they're afraid they won't have it for much longer. That seems to be 95% of the market now. And it's a market they created. So I don't feel that sorry for them. I think we needed an adjustment to the gun market. A lot of the manufacturers need to go out of business, and demand needs to get back down to where it's supposed to be instead of artificially inflated. Practical Bacon said SIG, according to the fear mongers, CZ and Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson just, they're phoning it in. I mean, they made a longer version of the CSX. Who wants a longer version of the CSX? That gun was mildly interesting as a small, little, easy carried, compact, micro compact, even gun. But but they're taking it and saying, the little niche that makes this gun worth it. Well, we're taking it out of that niche and making it compete with guns that are a lot better than it. Just that doesn't make sense to me, but they do it all the time. And Smith's probably one of the worst of that. John M. Mandrick, Keltec, no one both with innovation and with their guns. I don't know what that last part means, but innovative wise, yes, Keltec, the gun that they load with the stripper clips they just came out with. Other guns they make, some of the stuff they design, I look at it like, that 5.7 model that uses the FN top loading mags and stuff. I look at those and I'm like, those are very cool. But like I said, I do not want a banana skin nailed to a board. And that's what you end up getting when you buy guns from monkeys. No matter how good those monkeys' ideas are, you end up with monkey-made guns. That's the problem with Keltec. Aaron talks firearms. My chat last night was deleted. My answer for the guns they should make again is the HKPSG-1 and the Franke Spaz 12. My answer for tonight is H&K. I don't know if you're right on that or not, because I don't know what H&K's come out with in the last 5 or 10 years, because I can't afford many H&Ks. I think the stuff that they are probably producing is probably more in the lines of PCCs and stuff like that. But they make good products. I just don't know if they've made new ones for a long time, anything different, except for like I said, in their lines outside of just general handguns. Felice Shanice said Walter. Walter was one of the ones I was going to say. Walther or Walther, but we won the war. We get to decide how W is pronounced. It ain't W, it's W. 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 P99, PPQ, PDP, and variations keeping it fresh. Though I like the PDP. I think it's awesome, but I think replacing the PPQ with it, I mean, I know it's an evolving thing for them, but I liked the PPQ. Call me crazy. I like that one. But yeah, Walter was one of the ones I considered too. Mad Dog said Ruger. They always seem to have something new. They do. Lately, it's been a whole lot of versions of stuff they've already offered, though. A lot of purple and pink and this and that. And look, we put a pretty little design on it now. You got an American flag on the slide, stuff like that. But Ruger, I knew some people would say Ruger because, Ruger makes good guns. Mr. Furley says CZ, they got the Colt line and cool semi-autos. CZ does own Colt now. They got Dan Wesson. They got for their 1911s. They got Colt for their revolvers. They got their own line of semi-autos. So CZ is definitely cranking out some good stuff, especially if you take Colt as part of CZ. Because, my Colt is one of the ones I think is one of the better ones. So if you roll that into CZ, that definitely makes sense. Jumpy Killer Ox says Ruger, Colt, Walter, Beretta in the I don't know category. RIA and Prop 7 guys. RIA and Prop 7. I don't know what that last part means, but Rock Island Arms. I haven't really paid attention to a lot of stuff they've been making lately, but I'll have to check it out. Ghost Shadow says, got sale notice for a Ruger Red Hawk 357 Magnum 8-shot 2 3/4 inch barrel semi-auto pistol, and wonder exactly how that works. Yeah, I have one of those. You sent me the picture and everything. I have one of those. I don't know how the semi-automatic function works either. I haven't seen the hammer lock back on it ever. I mean, granted, I ain't shot it a lot. I've never once seen it lock into single action from pulling the trigger and shooting it in double action. Don't know how that works. I got one, but I must be doing it wrong. There must be a button you got to push or something that I can't find because I ain't found it. I don't know how to make it work. Edgar Cortez said, Sig Sauer. I love SIGs, but it seems like everything they've made lately has been a version of the P320. Now, the P365 was, I think, a very innovative gun that really took a lot of the market and all this other stuff. And so was the P320 in its day. But lately, I think it's just been we're going to make every version of the P320 we possibly can. We're going to make as many Legion versions of things where we just basically change the color and put a little design on it. And it's got so much better springs, that kind of stuff. I don't know if I agree with SIG, but I do love SIG, so I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. I like SIG a lot, as you can tell if you can see behind me here. A lot of SIGs over there. Gummy Wuzzle said Taurus. There's one that no one's saying, but I think Taurus has been putting out some pretty cool guns, some different guns. They're those T-line series guns and stuff they're doing, and they're single stacks, they're double stacks. They've been putting out some pretty innovative stuff, actually. So I have to say I agree with the Taurus thing. Beretta, Glock, SIG, I said what I said. I don't know if I agree with the last ones. I don't know what Beretta's really come out with other than the APX, and that's getting a little long in the tooth now. Not exactly a brand new gun, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Vern? Mr. Furley said Glock. Just kidding. Yeah, Glock has never been innovative. Glock is all encompassing. Is what I used to like about them, and they're getting away from that. It used to be Glock. If you wanted a Glock, you could get a Glock, and you could pretty much get it in full size, compact, subcompact, in any caliber you wanted. Different barrel lengths up to long slides. Now they're doing away with that, as they're not as much of that as they used to be. You know what I mean? Burn. Motor Racer Chris said Tissos and Gerson with some 38 Super. No one wants your 38 Super. Stop trying to make that a thing. It's not happening. It's awful. No one wants it. But Tit Sauce did make some pretty interesting. They came out with that stainless steel high power before high power and them started making stainless steel ones. Although I do want to trade in my Tit Sauce and get one of the other ones, like the Springfield Armory one in stainless or something. Paul B said, "Hail Phil, how about PSA?" Well, they put out the first like striker fired 5.7 really on the market, and they've got a lot of other stuff too. So I do think that they would be in the running for a company that has still been actually putting in the effort. I could see that definitely. Mad Dog weighed in one last time, and he's our last person weighing in. Last comment we got right now, unless someone throws another one in there. He says Ruger has the 5.7 10 millimeter carbine, Glock clone, true, and also have all the colors too. They do have all the colors. I forgot about the Glock clone. I don't know if that's how much research they put into that, if it's anything new or innovative, but it is new to them. That PC carbine, that's actually a cool one. I wish more companies made stuff like that PC carbine, although I wish they made theirs foldable like the Smith & Wesson. But they do. They put out some stuff. Ruger is a good company, and I like Ruger. Everybody knows that. So I ain't going to say nothing negative about Ruger. It's sad that I think Ruger is actually doing better than Smith & Wesson as far as putting out new product. I've not been thrilled with Smith & Wesson as of late. Now, they are coming out. I will say, I will give Smith & Wesson some kudos for bringing back things like the mountain guns and stuff. But all they're really doing is removing the locks. They're basically kind of saying, without saying you all were right and the locks were stupid, we're removing the locks. And I don't know if fixing your own mistakes is all that innovative, but I will give it to them that some of the mountain guns and stuff are coming out. Some of the little J frames in the 32 are coming out. So maybe they're not doing as bad as I say. But that was Mad Dog weighing in there, our last person weighing in. So that's it for us today. I want to thank everybody for weighing in that did, for helping with the conversation. I wanted to hear your opinions, and you gave them to me. So how about you all out there in YouTube land? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below what gun manufacturers are still doing a good job at innovative, putting out good products, interesting products, not just phoning it in. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to weigh in on one of these topics in person, come to our live chat. We do them every day at 6 p.m. And if you want to become a patron of the channel, go on over to TYMPpistolproject.com. You can go over there right now and you can sign up and be entered into the daily knife giveaway we're doing. And we'll be doing that after the open chat here that we do immediately after this chat. You can also get entered to win the custom Marvin stock if you'd be interested in that. So go on over there to my website, TYMPpistolproject.com. Check things out. Come to one of our live chats. Hope to see everybody at the next live chat. So until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Before we go, I just want to take a second to remind everyone that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We don't take a penny from advertisers, retailers. We don't take money from political organizations. There's no one telling me what I need to tell you. Everything that we do is done through the generosity of our viewers, either buying merchandise or becoming a patron or a Subscribe Star member. You're all the ones that support Pets and Vets and TYMPPP. And that's the reason I can stay true to myself and loyal only to the people who watch my channel. And I can spend my time talking about what I want to talk about, telling what I think needs to be said, and giving you my uncensored take on things I think you need to hear. So if you'd like to help keep things that way, please support the channel by becoming a patron, a Subscribe Star supporter, or just going over to my web store and buying some merch. The links are all in the upper corner of this video.